With this looming pandemic, 2 points are rather clear. First, the many Americans who are endangered by the multiple failures of a very ill-prepared Trump administration, whose denials continue to parallel the denials of the Chinese leadership initially to what was happening in Wuhan. And second, the willingness of the pharmaceutical industry to advance its monopoly power no matter how serious the crisis, to view every crisis as an opportunity for more monopoly power and higher prices. We have already invested $700 million, and one of the breakthroughs that has come out of that $700 million occurred in my hometown of Austin, where the University of Texas discovered its first 3D atomic scale map of the part of the virus that attaches to and infects human cells. This is a discovery that will help as vaccines and antiviral drugs are developed. But it is, while it's important work, President Trump made a phony claim that the vaccine was just around the corner. We're not going to have a vaccine or a blockbuster cure this year. We may not have it next year. Though we cannot make up for the many failures of this administration, as both congresswomen have indicated, we approved some money yesterday to add to that $700 million in an effort to try to get there. But the big question, whether it is lab kits or cures or vaccines, is who pays and who profits. Senator McConnell continues to serve as one of the loudest mouthpieces for Big Pharma. We don't need more handouts or giveaways to the pharmaceutical industry to get the vaccines that we need. What we do need is some reasonable restraint on prices. The president has got the tools to do this. In April of 2017, 2 years ago, Congresswoman Schakowsky, Congresswoman DeLauro, a total of 51 of us asked President Trump to use the authority that he has under long-standing law to do something about drugs that were developed with taxpayer money and restrain their prices. Like everything else in his administration, he talked about it. He did absolutely nothing. And so prices, contrary to the president's claim, for drugs of all types have been going up, though at a slightly reduced rate as they were before, and he has not brought down any drug prices. And of course, that is in part because he likes to pal around with pharmaceutical executives and to staff his administration with people like Alex Azar, who was a leading insulin price gouger when he was the head of Eli Lilly. He claims that he's going to do something about lower prices, but we've yet to see it anywhere else, and we're certainly not seeing it in response to your questions. As we've seen time and time again, when you have unrestrained monopoly power, you don't get an excess of innovation, and you do get higher and higher prices. Trump's apparent decision to avoid discussing the pricing of the kits, the cures, the vaccines when he met with Big Pharma at the White House earlier this week tells us the truth. A danger remains that the federal government will simply write a blank check signed by taxpayers to Big Pharma as a result of this crisis. I think American taxpayers deserve better. It's long past time that they see a return on the investment. I'm pleased that the emergency funding language does refer to reasonable prices, though I would like for it to have been much stronger and to make specific reference to Section 1498 and the Bayh-Dole legislation, what I call taxpayer rights legislation. But with taxpayers footing the bill, it is essential that all of us continue to ask the questions, demand the facts, and assure some accountability of an administration that is so accustomed to enriching the few at the expense of the many. Thank you, Jan.
Thank you, Lloyd.